G'day everyone, Kale here on Dalaran-WoW's Algalon server. I'm going to show you a different way to do Heigan the Unclean, a way that I had to develop as a multiboxer because trying to lead 10 toons through the phase 2 of this encounter is a bit of a nightmare. You'll notice that the first half of this strat is essentially the same as any other, that being my ranged DPS and healers go stand on the platform out of range of Heigan's aura, whilst my tank grabs him, takes him down to the dance floor, and wanders back and forth, hopefully avoiding all of the lava bursts. You can probably tell from my toon's gear that this isn't the first time I've done Heigan this way, or for that matter, bosses beyond him. And whilst better gear does make this, like any strat, easier, it's worked just as well for me in gear from heroics, crafted item level 200 gear, and from some spiderwing bosses. You can see I've made the pull here. I've made a little mistake at this point. I've failed to notice the first explosion, so I'm going to get hit by the second one before moving over to the right zone for the third. There we go. A fair bit of damage, but nothing a tank can't handle. You'll probably notice at this stage that there's not actually a whole lot of shots hitting Heigan. His health's not dropping all that rapidly. And that's simply because of the fact that I'm running a very unusual raid composition here. I'm running 1 tank, 3 ranged DPS, an arcane mage, a destro lock and a serve hunter, and 6 healers, meaning 2 holy paladins, 2 resto shamans, a resto druid, and a holy priest. Normally I wouldn't run anything like that composition, but for this fight I've switched a few of my DPS across to healing. As phase 1 draws to a close, Heigan will teleport up onto the platform. This would normally be a cue for everyone to run off the platform, down to the first quadrant and start dancing. Trying to do this as a multi-boxer though is very, very difficult. Either having everyone on follow, they get hit by the lava bursts, or trying to stand everyone in the same place and strafe them across, they all end up scattered across the room, so we're going to stand on the platform instead. And Heigan's glowing green now, which means he's now doing 7,500 damage to everyone on that platform every second. However, he has stopped emitting that casting speed debuff, which is important because my healers are now all hitting their biggest AoE heals as rapidly as they can. You can see the big numbers that are coming out from the predicted numbers on grid. However, this alone isn't enough to get through this encounter. 7,500 every second is a big number considering the health pools that these characters have. Therefore, I've turned to the forgotten mechanic of Wrath of the Lich King, resistance. You can see the effect of this in the lower damage my tank is taking each tick. And we made it through phase 2. At this point, I've stopped spamming my big heal button, and instead my healers are now going through a regen phase. So the priest is using Hymn of Hope, the shamans are using Mana Tide, paladins are using Divine Plea, hopefully so that when I next get to phase 2, I can do that all over again. And now it's business as usual for phase 1. Whilst my tank wanders back and forth avoiding the lava and my ranged DPS slowly whittle down Heigan's health, I just wanted to revisit what I was saying about resistances. Resistance in Wrath of the Lich King went by 10% blocks, meaning you needed to have enough rating to get to either 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, etc. % before you got any benefit. This tank is sitting at 40% resistance because of his alchemy and leatherworking and a few other items. This means he'll take, on average, about 40% less damage from nature. However, it can be as low as 30% less or as high as 50% less. My other toons have between 20 and 40% resistance, depending on their spec and their professions. The reason all this resistance matters is because when Heigan's channeling his big 7.5k DPS AoE, my toons are only taking 5 or 6k, which is the difference between dying in 3 ticks or 3 seconds and 4 or 5 ticks, which is enough time for a couple of heals to land. And here he goes again. You can see this time I've actually positioned my tank on the far side of him. This is so that my tank will actually get a few extra heals. You can see the chain heals going there. The other advantage that this strat has, apart from not having to dance, is that I have 100% DPS uptime, meaning my tank and my ranged DPS all through this 45-second phase 2 are able to keep the pressure on Heigan. This means that even with lower gear, I only ever had to do 3 of these teleport phases, which is good because everyone was starting to run out of mana by the time I got to the 3rd one. This time, with my better gear, you can see he's just about dead at the end of the 2nd phase too. I don't quite manage to get him during this phase 2, so I'll drag him down to the dance floor and finish him off down there. Once again, this was played on Dalaran-WoW's Elgalon server, the Progressive Realm. It's a great server, well-written scripts, friendly community, and supportive of multiboxes. I highly recommend it for anyone looking to relive the old Lich King days. And there we have it. Heigan the Unclean down. An almost danceless alternative. So from all of me here in the collective, I hope you found this video helpful, or at least a bit entertaining, and I'd like to say thanks for watching. I'll see you back in Dal.